guys, and happy Homebrew Wednesday. Today I have been doing a little bit of hot steeping with some dark grains, trying to get an idea of which ones have the best chocolatey flavor that I want to put into my next Imperial Stout. Before I get to that though, let's go ahead. I did a beer tasting from Eclipse Brewing, who's up in the Seattle area but is from Australia. Now he was kind enough to send me 3 beers, and I did a tasting of his pineapple coconut Hefe. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that, and then we'll come right back and talk more about this. Here you go. So I'm ready for a beer. This one I'm going to crack open the pineapple coconut Hefe from none other than Eclipse Brewing. This one's clocking in at 4.6%. Let's go ahead and get this cracked open, get it into the glass, and share the experience. Pretty good little hiss on it. Let's go ahead and get the pour. Boom. Look at that, nice crystal freaking clear. Not what I was expecting for a Hefe, but it's probably a little bit older, I'm guessing. It's got some pretty big bubbles on there. You can see it. But wow, that's a hell of a storm in there. Let's go ahead and get the aroma. Okay, not really actually getting so much on the aroma. A little bit of like fruity sweetness. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Cheers. Thanks a lot, Steven, for sending this my way. There's that coconut. Tons of coconut. Wow. That's definitely the first thing that hits me. I don't get so much of the Hefe characteristics of it, like cloviness or banana. But there is something there intermingled with the coconut. It's got a good carbonation, as you would expect, on the mouthfeel. It's definitely what you see with your eyes. But it's really sort of the light medium body. Yeah. The carbonation is really like sort of a soda, like a soda pop sort of carbonation. It's really strong, but it goes really nice actually with that coconut. It's almost like a coconut soda. But with that light medium body mouthfeel on it, it's really kind of a little bit of slickness to it. Almost like a diacetyl slickness, but I don't get any butter or butterscotch or any diacetyl notes in that way. But it could be contributing to the mouthfeel. It's really mixing really well, whatever it is, with that coconut. So I'm thinking, like, if that is the banana taste, the Hefe banana flavors, it's mingling or at least dancing together with the coconut, but the coconut's definitely leading the dance on this one. That's a really nice beer. I'll go ahead and get the rest in there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up enjoying the rest of this. This is a nice drink. Thanks a lot. Thanks again, Steven. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Alright, so today with the hot steeping method for the dark grains, hot steeping method, basically the way that you do this, listening to a podcast up on Beersmith, I'll put a link to it down in the description below. But basically what you do is you take 50 grams of the malt that you want to do a hot steep with, and mix that with 400 milliliters of 65-degree hot water. And then you go ahead and let it steep for 15 minutes. And then you drain it through a coffee filter or a very fine sieve if you have one. And there you have it. This is the result. So out of these 6 dark grains, what I have is, starting on my right is the Black Patent. Again, I don't have the specific vendors for each one of these. Just generic Black Patent. I believe it's from the UK. I do have a crisp chocolate malt, which is also from the UK. That's 900 to 1200. I also have pale chocolate. I also have a Wireman's chocolate wheat. Also have a chocolate rye. And over here, lastly, I've got it's a Dutch maltster that also provides a chocolate. It's more of a lighter chocolate, around I think 400 to 600 SRM. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and go through these really quickly and tell you my first impressions. I'll go ahead and start with the Dutch chocolate. Here you go. You can kind of see the color. It is pretty opaque. If I look down into the glass, I can actually see down probably for about ½ an inch off the sides. Really nice sort of dark caramelly color. I don't get chocolate per se. It's more of just a light roastiness to this one. Not astringent or anything like that. Just a very light roastiness to it. More like a, give it like toast, right? It's like a medium toast. Now let's go with the chocolate rye. Chocolate rye is also a little bit lighter than any of the others. I can see, same with this one, I can see down probably for about ½ an inch down on the sides. Cheers. None of these quite have so much on the aroma. And the chocolate rye, really doesn't express much. It's more about the color on this one. But I do get, it's a little bit drier, not astringent, but drier, and very subtle notes of like a, it's not spice, but grainy, sort of a grainy light toast. This one is a very light toast and a little bit of grainy. Okay. And actually, when I think about this and taste it, I think almost whiskey. And it makes total sense with like a rye whiskey. And I do get hints of that from that malt. So, yeah. Take that with a grain of malt. Okay, here's the Wireman's chocolate wheat. This is 900 to 1200. I can't see down the sides of it at all. It's very opaque. It does give me a dark toasty aroma. For the flavor, I do get more of that dark toastiness. This is actually more like a just above a dark toastiness. It's, you know, if I was to rate toastiness on a scale from like 0 to 1, they're Barr. And you know, I would say like the Dutch chocolate was probably somewhere around a 0.35. If I was to go on a scale from 1 to 10, it's like it's like a 3.5. The chocolate rye was more like not even a 1 really, probably about like a 0.9. For the Wireman's chocolate wheat, this is right up there, pushing like a 6. Maybe even like a 6.5 on a scale from 0 to 10. Going for the pale chocolate now. I can see down maybe for about 1/8 of an inch down on the edges. Let's go ahead and dive in. The aroma is more chocolatey than any of the others I've had so far, but it is subtle. I get more on the aroma than I do on the flavor. The flavor is more like a 4. Yeah. Probably, yeah, like a 3.8 out of on a 4, somewhere in there. Going on to the chocolate malt. This is the crisp UK chocolate malt. I think this is also 900 to 1200. Okay, so far this is definitely the most chocolate aromatic one. Smells like a dark chocolatey, dark unsweetened chocolate, just a little bit. Diving in. In terms of flavor, it follows the aroma, but it's very subtle. This is also lower, down around like a 6.5, maybe a 7. Okay. And then going on to the black patent. So I can see maybe a 1/16 of an inch down on the sides in terms of the clarity. The aroma is more ashy. Yeah. More towards the burnt, ashy aspect. Yeah, kind of like ash. You gonna taste it? Definitely, it's not too astringent, but it's definitely pushing that boundary a little bit. But it is a very dark toast. So this is probably the darkest toast flavor out of all of them. Yeah, this is definitely like burnt toast. That's what I'm getting out of that one. So I think my favorites out of these, I'm gonna go through them quickly. Dark chocolate's very subtle compared to, especially after that black patent. Chocolate rye was very light. Not much on the aroma. Coming back to that rye whiskey. Get that a little bit. The Wireman's chocolate wheat. Definitely more towards the doughy area. This is definitely like a more like a doughy toast, you know, like a very chewy toast, very doughy on that one. On the that was the chocolate wheat. Makes sense, I guess. Chocolate pale is pale chocolate, just sort of a roundy chocolateness to it. Not so strong. With that crisp chocolate, 900 to 1200, I think that's definitely the best candidate for what I'm gonna go for here, is for a chocolatey imperial stout. So I'll probably end up using that one only. Maybe a slight combination of the pale chocolate just to contribute a little bit more to it. But yeah, in terms of the sieve that I used to do this with, it was like just a little coffee filter that I used. You know, it's like a personal cup coffee filter. It has a attachment that goes on top of this, but I didn't use it. It's just got a very fine sieve on the bottom. Once the grains were done steeping, I went ahead and just poured it down in here into a taller glass, and then from that glass I just dumped it into each one of these, and this is what I got. So I can highly recommend trying out the hot steep method for your malts. For the chocolate ones, this has been definitely interesting for me to try. Each one is unique, subtle, but unique nonetheless. And so I'll probably end up doing the same thing for Special B, brown malt, biscuit malt, amber, melanoidin, just to sort of get a little bit more familiar with those malts as well, and see what else I want to contribute to the beers that I make in the future. Anyways, I highly recommend it. Go ahead, check out the links to the podcast where they're talking about the hot steep method, and give it a whirl and let me know what you think. If you've already tried it, let me know how this worked out for you. And yeah, beyond that, guys, not much going on. I've got the Sticky Brown cold crashing right now, and Christian's gonna come on over next week and we're gonna bottle it up, so hopefully we'll get some footage of that, of us just cooking and joking around. And yeah, till next week, hope you guys are having a hell of a week. Have a better weekend. Cheers.